I don't know how it happens, but it seems like every weekend is a bigger recruiting weekend than the last weekend.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, welcome back into Locked On Bama. Luke Robinson, that's me. Jimmy Stein, that's him. This episode is brought to you by Gametime, and I'll tell you about Gametime here in just a little bit. And thanks for making us your first listen or second listen. It doesn't matter. Some people in the comments got hung up on the first listen. We know we may not be the first listen. That's okay. That's okay. Just listen and subscribe. Jimmy, huge weekend yet again. Look, for a staff that was known as full of Husky Harsons, it is pulling in a heck of a class so far. And I want to tell you something. This weekend, it's no different. In fact, it's probably bigger than some of the previous weekends. Some of the names on here, they're dudes.
Yeah, there are some big names this weekend for sure. I think 2 weekends ago when the madness started, I think there was 12 visitors, and last weekend there was 10. This weekend right now, we've been able to confirm at BOL there's 9 guys coming in this weekend. But don't be fooled by the dwindling number, because some of these guys, as Luke said, are truly big time. We'll go over all 9 of them today. Real impressed. You said Husky Harson. I'm fully embracing that. That's a slur the Aubs came up with on their boards because they thought DeBoer was going to be their version of Brian Harsin. And since he came from Washington, they came up with what I think is kind of a cute, funny nickname, and Husky Harsin. Problem being that Kalen DeBoer is one of the best college football coaches in the country. That's why Alabama hired him. He's a proven winner, and recruiting he's already in his first 13 or 14 commitments. He's already surpassed anything that Harsin did in his time at Auburn in terms of signing. But so I'm fully embracing it. I think after every huge Kalen DeBoer success, Luke, we should call him Husky Harsin because hey, pretty nice win over Georgia last night for Husky Harsin. But
hold on. Before you get into the recruits, I'm like, the wheels are turning up here slowly. But, if we don't get some Husky Harsin shirts, I think that's on us.
It is on us. We should. It's kind of like embracing Gumps. The Auburn fans called us Gumps as a slur, and I like it. It's an Oscar-winning film.
How about if we just had a shirt? I don't know if you can fit all this on the front. Locked On Bama Gumps for Husky Harsin, 2024. All right, go ahead.
That's a lot to read. A lot. But all right, so 9 guys this weekend. Let's start with Jackson Lloyd. I mean, the offensive tackle from California. One of the first offers DeBoer and his staff made when they got to Tuscaloosa was Jackson Lloyd. I think he's from Folsom, California, or somewhere out there. Jackson is a multi-sport star, which is something you don't normally see with offensive linemen. He's also, for an offensive tackle, not the biggest guy. He looks custom built for the DeBoer offensive line. He's athlete first. He's not just this enormous human being. He's tall. He's got a great frame. He's probably going to add some weight, but I don't even know that he'll show up at 300 pounds. I mean, I think he's more like a 6'6", 290-pound guy right now, probably going to play in college at the 310, 315 level. Some people consider Jackson Lloyd the top tackle in the country. He's almost certainly the top tackle on the West Coast. He'll be in this weekend. Getting a little more local, there's another 5-star guy coming in this weekend, a certified 5-star from Mississippi, A.K. Deer. I believe he is from Quitman, right? I think that's right. He's a running back from Quitman, Mississippi. Good trivia question. Quitman also the home of a former big-time Alabama athlete. Remember which one, Luke?
Antonio McDyess.
Antonio McDyess, that's right. Former Alabama basketball superstar, longtime NBA star Antonio McDyess. So A.K. Deer from Quitman, that's not too far, by the way, from Tuscaloosa. It's near the Meridian area. AK is a 5-star with offers from all over, big physical running back. He is committed to Ole Miss, but is open to flipping, or he wouldn't be making this visit. I think he's open to it. I wouldn't call Alabama a favorite, or I wouldn't necessarily say A.K. Deer is on flip watch, but he's clearly open to Alabama. We've recruited him for a long time. He's got a great relationship with Robert Gillespie. I believe he said he kind of grew up, cheering for Alabama because, believe it or not, even though he's from Mississippi, I think Tuscaloosa is going to be a lot closer to his home than Oxford is. So it's literally closer to home for him.
Should be noted, too, that Robert Gillespie's from Mississippi. He went to Florida, but he's from Mississippi.
Great point. Maybe that's one of the reasons they get along so well. He's got a great relationship with Coach G. So A.K. Deer is a guy that Alabama has a real good shot at. And again, he is a certified 5-star prospect. Justin Hill is coming this weekend, and I watched his tape, commented about it on BOL. I hope, y'all go to the site, read my breakdown of Justin Hill. I was raving about him yesterday. Man, he's done. Here's me going too far. Ready for me to go too far? But when I say this, Luke, and you're going to say, okay, he's lost it. He's gone too far. Go watch the tape before. Go watch the tape, his huddle tape of his junior season. You can't watch Justin Hill and not think of Derek Thomas, because he is really similarly sized to Derek Thomas at the same age. And he's one of these. It's because he is a stand-up linebacker who rushes the passer. You know what I mean? So much of Derek's sacks at Alabama had Derek standing up outside and speed rushing the quarterback. And Justin Hill is a blur. The quarter on multiple sacks on his highlight tape. The quarterback had absolutely no chance because Justin Hill had blown past the tackle before the tackle was out of his stance, and Justin Hill was hitting the quarterback. He also gets to the quarterback so quickly. Half of his sacks, he's knocking the ball out. This is a sack and strip guy because he's getting to the quarterback so fast. And I'm not comparing him to Derek Thomas. That's crazy. Derek may be the best pass rusher to ever play college football or even to some extent NFL football. But Justin Hill, you will think of Derek when you watch him because he plays such a similar position and is the same body size as Derek Thomas coming out of high school. So he's Ohio State or Alabama. He's probably one of those two. Alabama's got a real shot, even though he's from Cincinnati, an Ohio guy that likes Ohio State. Mom loves Alabama. We've covered his recruitment really well on BOL. I also famously saw Justin Hill on A-Day and thought he was Juju Lewis. They have the same hair.
Yeah, but isn't he a lot bigger?
Not really. Not enormously bigger. I would say same height, 10 or 15 pounds heavier. I mean, not crazy differently sized, but yeah, he's got the same hair. So I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Juju Lewis. He's not supposed to be here. And I was right. Juju Lewis wasn't supposed to be here, and he wasn't. But anyway, Justin Hill, great
what
prospect.
A quinky dink.
Yeah, he's got Malachi Goodman, offensive lineman from New Jersey, 11th rated tackle in the country. He'll be here. Great player. You watch him and you're like, wow, the 11th rated tackle in the country. Then you watch his tape and you're like, wow, why is he rated way back at 11? He should be higher. I mean, he's a guy that's like he's a technician who happens to be a world-class size and speed athlete. It's like he never misses a block. You watch his tape and wonder, has he ever missed a block his entire 3 years playing high school football? Has he ever missed once? He probably hasn't. He's good. How about this prospect from Mississippi that's really interesting? London Simmons. He's from over there near, I think it's near Clinton, Mississippi, from a little small school called Hartfield Academy. I'd never heard of until I watched London Simmons tape. So this is small school Mississippi ball. This is the 1A private school, right? Well, first of all, you'd have any reservation from taking a small school kid like that who's playing against, I mean, I haven't put on BOL, I even put in the thing, he's playing against a bunch of Jimmy Steins out there. I mean, he literally is. And he's a defensive tackle, and he's 6'3", 290 pounds. This is a typical SEC-sized defensive lineman playing 1A ball. My thing about him is, Luke, if I'm going to be interested in a kid like that at that size playing that ball, you better be dominant. And is he? I saw multiple clips of him busting through triple teams, double teamed at the line of scrimmage, gets in the backfield. There's a back to pick him up. Does it matter? No. He just makes the play anyway. And he's dominant at that level. Now, he's a guy you got to get in camp. You got to work him out. No way you take him without seeing him go up against guys his own size. And Alabama's interested. He's not a very highly rated guy, but Alabama has seen him in camp and they like him. If Alabama doesn't take him, I'll tell you who will. And this is Arkansas. Arkansas loves him, and pretty good program over there. So anyway, he's interesting. He's coming in. Javion Campbell, a basketball player who just started playing football, who's a pass rusher from Kentucky. He's coming in. Another kid that's impressive on tape. He's a better athlete than London Simmons. He looks like a basketball player playing football. And
is
I mean
it
that
London or London?
London.
Okay.
Did I say London? It's London Simmons. Okay. Javion Campbell is the pass rusher from Kentucky.
Okay.
And by the way, he's really good. He's a basketball player just learning to play football. And when you know that, and then watch the tape and you're like, wow, this guy just started playing football, because he's surprisingly physical. When I hear that a basketball player has just started playing football and he plays in the front seven, my first thought's going to be he's going to be soft. There's no way he's going to be tough. Boy, is that wrong when you watch that guy play. He's a natural, and he's more of a pure pass rusher. He would be ideal probably for our bandit spot. And it's kind of hard to find bandits, which are bigger bodied guys who can still rush the quarterback. I comped Javion Campbell when I watched his tape. I comped him to Justin Aboigbe. I think he's pretty similar to Aboigbe, a bigger bodied pass rusher. And as y'all know, Aboigbe had 7.5 sacks for Alabama last year and was just a third round pick in the draft, third or fourth round pick in the draft. The punter's coming. Okay.
Jimmy, I got to tell you about game time.
Oh, game time.
Kent's very well.
Okay. No, I don't.
When I put the little banner down there, that's what it's.
Yeah, I should have picked up on that. I was still trying to recall 9 names.
You know who else is on a roll? Game Time.
Game Time.
And I'll tell you, they're on a roll because they're the best. And I know this because I've used them. Look, could I do this live read without actually reading anything if I didn't use them all the time? I used them for everything. Major League Baseball. I used them for the World Series for my son. I used it for NFL, for college football, college basketball, college baseball. It's just awesome. I've used it for an NBA game. Used it for everything. And love Game Time. If you go download that app, the first time you use Game Time, if you use code Locked On College, you get $20 off that first purchase. These are already guaranteed low prices, and you get to see where your seat's going to be. That is fantastic. It's so much fun. You will absolutely love this app, and you will use it all the time. It's the best app out there. Everything's guaranteed. Go check it out. Game Time. Go download that app. Game Time. Lowest prices guaranteed. I'm telling you, and use code Locked On College for that first time, and thank me later. Okay, finish up with the punter, and then we'll talk about your countdown.
Sure. 3 more guys that I haven't got to still coming in. Again, 9 guys this weekend. And shout out to Andrew Bone, Joseph Hastings, and Tim Watts for putting that list together of official visitors. That's hard to. It's a lot of work that goes into that. Trav Smith, wide receiver from Atlanta, top 100 player nationally, big time national recruit. Got a good shot there, but he likes Georgia. I mean, this is a Georgia guy. Georgia's going to be tough to beat, but this is a national top 100 player who's a wide receiver, and it would be a big time take for anyone. You got a shot when they're on campus. I always say that. If Alabama gets a kid on campus for an official visit, you've got a shot. So let's see what happens. But he's coming in. This is a Georgia lean, brand new name, unfamiliar to Alabama fans. I did not know Alabama was in on this guy till it was reported by BOL yesterday. Harry Dalton, a running back that is committed to USC. Big. Now this guy's a little different than the other backs we're recruiting. This is a huge physical back. He's going to be pretty similar to Daniel Hill, who Alabama signed a year ago. Maybe not quite as big as Daniel Hill, but he is a physical runner. This is a run over you guy that probably when me and Luke were growing up, this probably would have been a guy you'd say, I think this guy's a fullback. I mean, he's a Terrence Lynch type guy, if y'all remember him from yesteryear. But anyway, I don't know much about him because, again, it's just reported by BOO yesterday that this guy's visiting, and I didn't know Alabama was too involved with this guy. USC, again, has already secured his commitment, but he is going to officially visit Alabama. Final guy we haven't mentioned yet is the punter. He's the first specialist to visit Alabama. He is a scholarship offer. This is a scholarship football player. Cole's Kicking, Craig Cole, who runs that the country's most famous punting guru, says this is the third best punter in America. Just about every national punter works out for Craig Cole or works in his camp. So when he says this guy's good, that's someone that all the coaches trust. And Cole ranks this guy as the third best punter in the country. He's from Fresno, California. His name is Alex Kasparov, maybe. It's kind of a Russian sounding name. But Alex, I call him Alex from Fresno City until somebody tells me how to pronounce his last name. But Alex from Fresno, I would probably be pretty optimistic here. And Alabama will need a punter in this class because James Burnip is cycling out after this upcoming season. So Alex would be then the only scholarship punter in the program and the odds-on favorite to be a freshman starting punter. So he's sort of in that sense almost a priority, right? But those are the 9 guys that are officially visiting this weekend. They will arrive in Tuscaloosa Friday afternoon.
You know, if we get a commitment this weekend, if we only get one and it's a punter, people are going to be disappointed, including me, but that's okay because I know we need him. I know we need him. It's, you know, it's like paying taxes. I mean, you got to pay them. I mean, otherwise you could get in a lot of trouble later, you know.
You don't want to not have a punter. You know, even Burnip's freshman year, he wasn't very good. And it'd be funny to go back, seeing how great he became. It'd be funny going back, looking at comments about Burnip in his first year here, because it was a struggle for him. But you could also see the potential. Obviously, Saban did, and thank goodness he did. How many would have given up on him just immediately? A lot of fans did. Yeah. You know, how many would have given up on him? And instead, you're like, man, if this kid sticks with it, he can be something. He may be the best punter in college football.
Wouldn't it be something if James Burnip is first team All-American and Will Reichert wasn't ever?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, the Will Reichert thing may be the biggest. I don't know. I'd have to think about it, but it might be the biggest robbery of an Alabama guy not making first team All-American ever. When you're the leading scorer in NCAA history and
I know,
first team All-American.
It's almost like this. If there's a Hall of Fame record goes in it, right? Because he's got the career. But each season, I'll be honest, each season, the kid that finished ahead of him, you get it. And the kid that finished ahead of Reichert last year is kicking for Alabama now. And Graham Nicholson, who was just unreal a season ago. And Graham Nicholson put up Luke Rosa winning numbers, no doubt. And even that year that Reichert never missed, I think he was 12 of 12, and other kickers, you know, made well over 20 field goals. Yeah. So, but the career numbers, and that's the thing, people have to remember, the Luke Rosa Award is based on that season. It's not based on a career. If there was a career award, Reichert's walking away with it. But and he was a Groza contender multiple times, but it's a real shame that he wasn't more award winning. Hey, but he might be getting his real reward in the NFL as we speak. That'll be something we watch in training camp, Luke, real carefully. But as of right now, Will Reichert starting kicker for the Minnesota Vikings, and there were Alabama fans last season who said, "Oh, Reichert's great. Oh, he'll never kick in the NFL." Well, the Minnesota Vikings disagree.
I'll tell you really quickly a funny story. I have one son that's a big Eagles fan. I've talked about it before. 20 years old at Arizona State, has Asperger's, but he got stuck on the Eagles several years ago, and then they ended up winning the Super Bowl. And he's like as big an Eagles fan as I am an Alabama fan. And so my other son, who really has never shown any inclination towards anything towards sports much, he just said this year, I'm going to play football. Like he's never played before. He's going into 9th grade, and he's doing it right now. And he's he's built like me, except not as big. Like I was a fat kid, and then I had a growth spurt, and I was just long and lanky, but I was pretty athletic. But my youngest son he's moderately athletic, but not super athletic, and he doesn't have that killer instinct. So I was like, okay, go play football, but maybe it's good for him to get.
Is it Mountain Brook?
No. He's in Ohio.
Oh, my bad. That I was thrown off. Every time I think of you in high school, I'm like, oh yeah, Luke went to that private school, and I was just anyway. I was thinking of comparing your situation.
Now he's at a school that had a kid that committed to Ohio State or went to Ohio State a few years ago. Like they're like big time. They're like not Thompson of Ohio, but they're big time. So he's playing on the 9th grade team, and he's never played before. So I'm going to see how this goes.
Wow.
But anyway, he called me the other day. He said, "Dad, I want to do he said he picked the New England Patriots last year. Like I'm going to be a Patriots fan like Truett's an Eagles fan. I'm just going to love them, love them, love them." I said, "That's great." And he called me like 2 weeks ago and said, "Dad, I kind of want to pull for Tampa Bay. Is that okay?" He said, "I'd rather really be a Tampa Bay fan." I said, "Walker, that's fine if you want to be a Tampa Bay fan. I'm all for it. He said, "I already asked Mom. She said it's cool. Is it cool with you?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine with it." He called me yesterday and said, "All right, this is the last switch, but I'm switching to the Vikings because they're closer. And I kind of like their colors a little better. And I'm just really excited." So when you brought up Will Reichert and the Vikings, I'm like, hey, okay.
I'm on board with I'm with Walker on the Vikings over Bucks. This is a good call.
Yeah,
this is a good call. Vikings over Bucks. Get on that Dallas Turner train. Dallas Turner, Will Reichert, and I think it's a good situation. I'm big on quarterback situations and fits, and I like JJ McCarthy up there with Justin Jefferson at wide receiver. I mean, is there a better thing for a rookie quarterback than to have the best wide receiver in football on your team?
Yeah.
I mean, Justin Jefferson's going to be open, right? And that's a great situation for. And I wasn't as high on JJ McCarthy as others were, but it's grown on me, and I love the situation. I won't be surprised at all if McCarthy's good quickly because Minnesota can win quickly. And with Walker blowing the horn for the Vikings, I like it.
All right, so we have whatever skull is. That's what we are doing now. They say skull. I can't remember. I always learn.
What does that mean? I see it.
I don't know. I'm going to look
SKOL. It's SKOL too. Whatever it is. It
must be you said ask AOL. I was like, Jimmy, nobody uses AOL anymore.
I probably do.
Okay, we're going to have to quickly run down through these two countdown guys. But, I think when you're in the 50s, you can make it quick if you want to. We can stretch it out. But you've got Jordan Renaud today. What number is he? Number 53?
He's number 53 on the roster ranking, and he is the number 3 bandit. And I think that's why he's at 53. I think he will play. I think we will see him. That's why he's in the 50s and not in the 60s or 70s. We're going to see Jordan Renaud this season. He will get his feet wet as a guy that plays in the games. But he at bandit is behind Jamarian Latham and LT Overton, who I think will basically divide all the first-team snaps. Should the two of them stay healthy, I just see them being 1A and 1B, with Overton being the flashier guy that I think sort of takes over the spot. Latham will hold it down until Overton's sort of ready, and I think LT Overton's going to be a star. Jordan Renaud has more upside than even both of those older kids, and I think Jordan Renaud has a chance to be a superstar-type player. But this is a developmental spot. I want people to think of Chris Braswell when they see Renaud. I know Renaud doesn't play Braswell's spot, but they play a similar spot. And let's remember that Braswell left Alabama awesome, but it took him a hot minute. Braswell had very quiet year 1s, year 2s, even year 3s. Braswell was pretty quiet and then exploded in years 4 and 5. I think Renaud is going to track that. And then the other guy we're going to talk about today is, who is it? Who's after Renaud?
Jeremiah Alexander.
Jeremiah Alexander, of course, from
this may be the most intriguing guy on the entire list at number 52, because this is a guy that was a 5-star, played for the best program. I mean, Central Phoenix City may be it now, but in 7A, they'd taken the mantle from Hoover, but let's call a spade a spade. a lot of Thompson dudes have not panned out.
Oh,
at least not in Alabama. I don't know that they panned out anywhere.
Talia.
Really.
Talia.
Well, yeah, but is Talia just signed with?
Yeah, he's going to play in the CFL.
But CFL.
He's the all-time leading passer in Big Ten history. I don't say it's his college career.
Agreed.
Yeah, no, that's true. But Jeremiah, is he going to be a player or not? This is the weird thing about, and I'm with Luke, intriguing. And here's the way I'm thinking of Jeremiah is this. This is his season to prove he's good next year. Like, there's two guys starting at inside linebacker, Deontay Lawson and Jahad Campbell. Jeremiah's not moving ahead of those guys. He's not even going to play a whole lot because why would you ever take Lawson and Campbell off the field until the game's decided, right? Yet Jeremiah Alexander can use this fall to prove, Coach Womack, don't run to the portal. Don't go sign multiple inside linebackers from the portal. I got this. I will be a solid replacement for Lawson or Campbell next spring. I can play with them or alongside them. I don't think we'll see a lot of him this fall, except for special teams. He'll be a key special teams player, I think. He'll be one of our better ones. Probably won't see him a lot of linebacker except end-of-game situations, but it is a big fall for him because, again, the portal is going to open in December. He's got from the start of camp until December to show the coaches, don't go to the portal. I got this. We got a lot of younger inside linebackers who are probably close to being ready, but Jeremiah will be the veteran of that group next spring, and he needs to be the dude there. He's got to prove that this fall. He just likely won't be able to prove it much in the games because Campbell and Lawson are going to take all the snaps.
Where was he last year? Do you remember on the countdown? Was he below this?
Probably. I would say I've moved him up. In my mind, he's a stock up guy based on this spring, but he would have been in this area because last year I would have also said he wasn't going to play and would have been a year younger. Plus, last year we also had Trez Marshall, at this spot that was also knocking guys down. And Trez, boy, talk about an under. We didn't give him enough credit last year, and it's probably because he's not a high draft pick and one of the sexy guys. But man, he was a glue guy that really held things together. And when Lawson got hurt, Trez really stepped up. And people forget, I would rank his performance against Georgia one of our better defensive performances of the whole season. Trez was a monster against Georgia, and we know why he was fired up to play in that game.
Well, and he recovered that fumble towards the goal line, right? I mean, deep in their territory. I mean, you're right. He had a monster game then. He was fabulous. So, I mean, here's hoping these two guys can step up. I mean, because wasn't there a Renaud? What kind of car was there? Like a French car, Renaud?
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Yeah, I think that's
like what Jordan reminds you of.
No, I'm just
see his name. It just spelled like it.
Yeah, I mean, I want him to be like a French car, just sort of run over stuff and have no brakes. Right. That's going to do it for today's podcast. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Until then, roll tide, everybody.
Roll tide.